I'm sorry you were offended by what I said and you didn't understand it. That's called the non-apology apology, and that's what Jimmy Kimmel used last night. And that was the fakest set of fake tears I've ever seen in my entire life. And if that kind of enraged you, I didn't watch it either. Don't worry about it. But if that enraged you, I wouldn't worry about it. This marked the end of the propagandists masquerading as comedians on late night TV. That might have been the start of the end. Eventually, you're going to get your late night TV back, but right now, yeah, not so much. Good God. Somehow he made it worse. Anyway, we'll talk about that, of course. We'll go through that because none of us wanted to watch it in real time. I doubt you did, too. Anyway, also, a story I didn't pay attention to until I heard Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, last night talking about it. The Trump UN speech. Now, I was concentrating on the content of the speech because he just blasted these globalist con artists, which was great. But the elevator not working and then the teleprompter shut off, at first I said, all right, well, it's just, I guess the UN's like everywhere else. There's just a crisis of incompetence everywhere, and they have some idiot workers too. Well, I think it was more than that, which is concerning, but it's okay. At least they're aware of it now. And Gavin Newsom, less than 2 weeks after an actual political assassination on a college campus, one of the guys calling for toning down the rhetoric. This both sides nonsense. Amped up the rhetoric, I should say, last night on another late night show. A guy's an absolute clown, but we'll get to it. So much hypocrisy to call out today and so little time. But we're going to do it within 20 minutes and hopefully have some laughs along the way. And thanks for finding me. Appreciate you. A Wicked Radio live stream, all the podcasts, all the platforms, I should say, and replays and audio podcast listeners, whatever your favorite podcast platforms are. Thanks for finding us there, too. Let's get right to it. I didn't watch this last night. In fact, I was thinking about this and I came to the realization this morning, getting ready for the stream. I've never seen Jimmy Kimmel live. Like ever, not once. No, a lot of that was because I was doing morning radio and getting up at 3:30 in the morning every single day. I wasn't going to stay up late and waste my time watching him or any of those other idiots, but I've never seen it live, and my streak continues because I didn't watch this last night. I wonder how many people did. I don't know. Now, this is long, but let's get to his fake apology, his non-apology apology, and the fake tears from last night. It's long, but hey, look at it this way. At least you didn't have to watch it in real time. Here he was.
I have to stand up to it. I've been hearing a lot about what I need to say and do tonight. And the truth is, I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human. And that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual.
Where's all the fake tears? The young man. He doesn't mean a second of that. Don't fall for it. Do not fall for it. He's absolutely full of crap. The young man. And how about that? It was never my intention to blame any specific group. Again, I'll go back to this. It's the third time I've said it. They went on the air with that broadcast and think of how many layers they had to go through before he did that monologue. It had already been debunked that this was a Trump MAGA guy or anything other than a deranged leftist lunatic who assassinated Charlie Kirk. It had already been debunked and clarified 3 days before he did that monologue. Think of the layers they had to go through. Writers, producers, ABC executives, who, by the way, are supposed to sign off on all these monologues so they don't have what they actually had. Himself, 3 days after all this and still did it. And yet last night goes on there with a non-apology apology and says, it was never my intention, that you misunderstood this, and I'm so sorry. He made it worse somehow. And it's called the non-apology apology. You can always pick this out. It's a technique that PR crisis firms came up with quite some time ago, but really started using it a lot with celebrities and politicians. About 10 years ago, you really started to see it a lot. And you look for it, and you could pick it out when you see something like this, when they say something like words like, not my intention, and they always work in sorry there, because that's the apology part of it. I'm sorry, and then the third part is always, you took it that way, all right? So he used the non-apology apology by saying, "It was never my intention. I'm so sorry that you felt that way." That was no apology. It was no anything. It's a carefully crafted, worded message that was right from a PR crisis team, possibly lawyers too, who used that to try to get him out of trouble. So he's full of shit. Has always been full of crap. He's a propagandist masquerading as a comedian. And that's okay, though. And if this enrages you that he's back on the air, and I've seen a lot of this online and heard from people personally, actually, that they're enraged that he was actually on the line after spreading that lie and that hoax, it's okay. You got to look at it this way. That's the beginning of the end for these clowns. It's the beginning of the end. And maybe that'll bear out in the ratings or whatever. It proved first and foremost that this wasn't any kind of a free speech attack. This wasn't anything from the FCC or the Trump administration. They were happy about it. They were happy of the backlash because they finally got called out. This was a business decision from ABC Disney because, like we said yesterday, average nightly viewership of 126,000 people in TV terms. I'll say it again. You basically owe ratings at that point. That is now that's a lot for a podcast, but television, that platform and that stage, 126,000 nightly average viewers is awful, and they know that. His contract is up in January. This was a shot across the bow and a warning shot to Jimmy Kimmel. You're not worth the risk that you're bringing us. That's why he's there. So let them fight it out and take it this way. Don't fall for the apology. And now you know how to pick out that hypocrisy. And it's the beginning of the end for those propagandists masquerading as comedians. Take it as good news. Take it as good news because now he will go away eventually. I don't know what's gonna turn into late night TV. I hope it's not politics again. I hope it's just, I would be more than happy to have just mindless entertainment again in that time slot. But what they've been doing now for the past 10, 15 years, where they politicized comedy, awful. But it's the beginning of the end for them, so take it that way. All right, here's this story. Now, I know you heard about the story probably about Trump at the UN yesterday. Now, I was focusing on the speech because I love what he did. I happen to love that. Is there a more useless organization in the world than the United Nations? What have they done? What have they done besides take money, propagate more wars, make more violence happen throughout the world, but in the name of peace? And it was every other world leader was there at the UN Assembly, and they all talked about climate justice. Trump wasn't having that. He called that a hoax. And he called their globalist invasion of their countries. You're going to lose your countries. You're going to lose Europe. I was concentrating on the speech, and I loved that. I thought it was great. I didn't pay much attention to, and shame on me, I should have, to the elevator story and the teleprompter story. I don't know, you probably saw this. I just thought maybe, it's a glitch. All right, the elevator stopped on the way up. I saw that as well. They have incompetent workers in their building, too. I guess even the UN. And then the teleprompter thing happened, and I said, all right, it's just, those things. I've always heard teleprompters go out all the time. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's, whatever. What I heard Caroline Leavitt say this last night, the White House press secretary on Jesse Waters, boy, this changed my mind. And I went back and I looked at both of these issues, and that was a lot more concerning than I originally took at first. Here's what she said. I didn't know about the previous report.
Caroline, it does appear to be sabotage with the escalator and the teleprompter. What is the White House going to do about that?
Well, Jesse, that's definitely what it appears to be to me. And that's why I put out a statement earlier. There was some concerning reporting over the weekend from the London Times, as you pointed out, that UN globalist staffers were basically plotting to set up the president of the United States. And first it was the escalator, then it was the teleprompter. And
oh, well, that's a different story. I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know there were published reports that they were possibly thinking about kind of sabotaging Trump with that. Now we've got a different story on our hands. So I go back and look at that after hearing that, and I looked at the coverage of the escalator stopping from a different angle, and I see Trump stopping like this and looking around quickly, as anybody would. I would too, but, if you're a political figure, after he's been shot at, he's been shot, I'd be concerned too, and especially the first lady ahead of him having to stop like this, very concerned. Now tied into what Caroline Leavitt has said about that, and they're looking into it, that's concerning to me. And the teleprompter thing, maybe less serious, but what a gaffe by whoever did that, if it was intentional. So here's how we went. Here's how we went off script They have the leather binder where he has a printed out copy of the speech in case the teleprompter goes out. They all do that. Boy, did this backfire if that was intentional. Good work. So you tried to sabotage with the teleprompter the best shit talker we've ever had in that office, in that position. Probably the best speaker that's ever spoken before the UN General Assembly. You want to take that guy off script, and you think that's going to hurt him? Yeah. Good luck.
I don't mind making the speech without a teleprompter because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Maybe, maybe not, but I'll say this. There's already people saying it's like, well, he had the script right. Just read the script. Yes, but Trump with a script in front of him, he even does this with a teleprompter. This is how they write for him. I interviewed once a speechwriter who was talking about how they write for Trump. They give him intro paragraph, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, paragraph, conclusion, bullet point, because he ad-libs in between a lot of stuff, as we all know. It's gotten him into trouble before, but this is also one of his appealing aspects to the Trump base. They love when he goes off script. If you thought you're sabotaging the teleprompter when that guy was going to hurt him, they still don't understand how he operates, still, after all these years. So, I don't know. I hope they do look into that. And I'm kind of embarrassed that my antenna didn't go up earlier on that story until I heard Caroline Leavitt say that. I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just two glitches that happened in the same day. Maybe not if there were published reports. I don't know, but kind of worries me. And can we say this as well with the elevator thing? Okay, if there were published reports out there and they're talking about it now, can we get the Secret Service on that? To try to make sure that all of that stuff is working first, like do a little test run or go into the escalator operating room and to make sure that nothing happens, because that's concerning. But at least they're aware of it now. But it was a great speech. If you haven't checked that out, check it out, because that's the guy you want in there. He wasn't having any of it. All right, we're going back to late night for a quick second on this one. We know about the Kimmel thing. We know about late night TV. We know they're all running scared now, and they're all, all these propagandists who are masquerading as comedians. We know what they're all up to. Who was one of the politicians, one of the first out of the box, that told us all, you got to tone down the rhetoric? After the Charlie Kirk thing on September 10th, tone down the rhetoric. You got to tone it down. Both sides, and they kept telling you both sides, even though it was coming from them, right? Gavin Newsom, one of the worst out of the box. Got to tone down the rhetoric. Well, apparently that didn't last long, because here we are, 13 days after Charlie Kirk was murdered for going on a college campus and disagreeing with people and opening up debate and civil discourse. 13 days after we were supposed to tone down the rhetoric. How's this for rhetoric last night? California Governor Gavin Newsom on Colbert last night. Is this toning down the rhetoric?
I fear that we will not have an election in 2028. I really mean that in the core of my soul, unless we wake up to the code red, what's happening in this country, and we wake up soberly to how serious this moment is.
Listen to the buzzwords. Code red. Won't have an election. All the buzzwords. I mean, this is right in line with threat to democracy. Remember, that's what they always said to Trump. I guess that one lost its steam, so they're not saying threat to democracy anymore. Now it's, I'm afraid of the election in 2028. We're not going to have it. We're not going to have it anymore. Is that toning down the rhetoric? Is that what we were supposed to do? So now you're trying to tell people, you're trying to tell your few audience members that actually will listen to you on the Stephen Colbert late night show, we're not going to have an election if we don't stop Trump. This is the same stuff that they've done. It's the same messaging. It's the same garbage that has amped up the lunatics that are out there that somehow have justified political violence. The same exact thing. So if you believe them when they said we need to tone down the rhetoric, don't believe them. Don't believe them because they didn't mean it. In fact, by the way, Funny that he should say that, because as it sits right now on his desk in California voters, what the hell are you doing with this guy? Sitting on California Governor Gavin Newsom's desk right now is Senate Bill 771, State Bill 771. Controversial piece of legislation in California sparked widespread debate. Now, why is that? Because it's a censorship bill. Same guy who went on TV last night, Colbert, I get it, small audience, but still, went on TV last night and said, we may not have an election. It's a code red. Same guy who said this, right? Now, what's this bill all about? Well, it's potential to impose massive fines on social media platforms, going after the platforms, and indirectly on users for content deemed harmful. Let's see, but who gets to decide what harmful content is? Oh yeah, them. Same guy went on Colbert last night and said, code red, the election may be canceled. The same garbage they've said, the same crap that they've said about the 2024 election, the 2020 election, the 2016 election, the same crap that they've always pushed. But that's the guy telling you to tone down the rhetoric. Right. He didn't tone anything down. He just used different words. Don't believe him. But again, it's okay. And here's my takeaway for you. And it's relevant that was on another late night show already decided to be canceled, not renewed. Colbert's already going away, and Jimmy Kimmel will go away. I don't know about Fallon. I mean, he's like goofy enough to and lighthearted and fluffy enough to stay on. All of this stuff is going to be cleared up, and it's okay because less and less people believe it. They're all full of crap, all of them, and you can see right through it. So don't believe the non-apology apology. These are the buzzwords to look out for, like Jimmy Kimmel did last night. It starts with sorry, not my intention, and, misunderstood. They put the blame on you. That's a PR tactic that he used last night. Don't fall for that. And don't fall for these people that told you to tone down the rhetoric when they're amping it up just with different words. But it's going to be okay. And once you can see the BS, you can see right through it. All right, I don't know what's coming up, but it's midweek already. I don't know what's coming up tomorrow, but we're going to be talking about it, hopefully with more laughs than what's been going on. Can you talk about a news cycle that's been tough to talk about for the past 2.5, 3 weeks? Holy cow, it's been rough. It's all right. That's okay, because it's all getting better. Trust me. You got to get through this crap before it gets better. With that said, thanks for finding the live stream and the replay on all these platforms. A Wicked Radio live stream and replay, and the podcast as well, and the audio podcast. Wherever you like to get them, just press subscribe and download as well, and follow on all that other stuff. Have a wicked awesome midweek. It's going to get better, I promise you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.